Welcome to Good News Conversations. I'm your host, Gino Gutierrez. This show is presented by the Jewish Community Center of Greater Albuquerque. If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe, and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Be sure to see the show notes for a discount on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading local news source. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Good News Conversations here on the Albuquerque Journal Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gino Gutierrez, and I want to thank the Jewish Community Center of Greater New Mexico for sponsoring this episode and the Good News Conversations podcast. In this episode, we're going to run down a few of the stories we've covered so far in the Good News Roundups this November and talk about a very special Veterans Day event that took place at Hope Christian School.
Looking for a place where everyone in your family can thrive? The Jewish Community Center of Greater Albuquerque is your local hub for wellness, learning, and connection. Whether it's our state-of-the-art fitness center, early childhood programs, or vibrant cultural events, there's something for everyone. Everyone is welcome at the JCC. Join us and be part of a diverse community that supports your whole family's growth and happiness. Visit jccabq.org to learn more.
And before we dive into this episode, I want to take a minute to remember Ollie Reed Jr., a staff writer here at the Albuquerque Journal. We tragically lost Ollie yesterday on Tuesday, November 19th, and Ollie was a special presence in our newsroom. He was 76. A journalist for over half a century. Ollie was a cornerstone of journalism here in New Mexico. I didn't have the privilege of working with him for very long, but I consider the time I spent with him to be a true honor. He was a Southern gentleman, and he was a storyteller in every sense of the word. He could keep you hanging on every word he said or wrote. And for our listeners who are subscribers to the Albuquerque Journal, they understand exactly what I mean by that. Ollie always came into the office with a warm smile on his face, the unmistakable laugh anytime a source would tell him over the phone something funny, and always in his trademark fishing button-up shirt and cowboy boots. I know I speak for everybody in the Albuquerque Journal newsroom and for the journalism community here in New Mexico when I say we will dearly miss Ollie and his stories, and may he rest in peace. And thank you so much, Ollie, for the lessons you taught me in such a short amount of time and for always being a true friend and somebody I could look up to early in my journalism career. Now, I want to focus on a couple of the stories that we've covered here on the Good News Beat so far through the month of November. And I want to start with a very cool Veterans Day story that we covered last week that involved a very, very cool site at the Hope Christian High School soccer field in Northeast Albuquerque. Typically, for most kids, Veterans Day is a day off of school, a day to hang out with friends and reflect on those who fought and bled for our country to secure the freedoms that we all enjoy. But several years ago, Hope Christian decided that they were going to start holding school on Veterans Day in order to better understand and educate their students on what the sacrifice these men and women made in order for us to enjoy the security and the freedom that we have today. And this year on Veterans Day marked a very, very special occasion for the students. A New Mexico Army National Guard Black Hawk helicopter actually landed on the soccer field at Hope Christian, and the pilots and the flight crew invited the students out onto the field to check out the helicopter, learn more about what the helicopter does for the public and what their mission is, and to really make it a very special Veterans Day for everybody involved. And Dominic Anderson, who's one of the pilots of the helicopter, he actually has kids of his own that attend Hope Christian, and he was in conversation before this event took place with the Hope Christian High School principal, Wade Randall, and the two had discussed, what could we do for Veterans Day that would really involve the kids and get them, out moving and understanding exactly what veterans in the military are doing to keep everybody safe. And that's when Anderson broached the idea of landing a Black Hawk helicopter on the field, something that was very, very cool, very, very special for these kids. It's not every day you see a helicopter land on a soccer field. So the two began having conversations and kind of understanding, what are the logistics of this? How are we going to make this work? And they decided, what better day to hold this than on Veterans Day, when we can have the kids go out to the field, they can see what's going on, they can see this helicopter, they can see it land, and interact with it and interact with the pilots. So that's exactly what they did. So on a very, very balmy, windy, chilly Veterans Day morning, the helicopter flew overhead and then circled around, made a U-turn, and quickly landed back on the soccer field. And that's when the students had a chance to go out and check it out. All age levels at Hope Christian were able to see the helicopter, the high school, middle, and elementary school students. I got a chance to talk to two first graders that were able to check it out, Jovi Pacheco and Armani Castaneda. And Armani was so amazed at the blades of the helicopter. When I asked him what his favorite part is, he said he liked the spinners on top, the blades of the helicopter. And Jovi really, really loved being able to sit in the cabin of the helicopter. She said her favorite part was going in and sitting down on the chairs that were inside. And it was just very, very awesome to see the kids get up close and personal with it. Dominic Anderson could not have been more gracious with his time, took time to answer each and every question that the kids had. And when I spoke to him at the end of the event, he said something pretty powerful. He called this one of the best Veterans Day events that he had ever attended, saying that the energy level of the students was, through the roof. They were so polite. They stood in line. They waited their turns. They asked their questions. And each one of them, he said, thanked him and his flight crew for their service. And Anderson told me, he said, that's one of those things that reminds us why they do what they do. Just a very, very special Veterans Day for the kids at Hope Christian, and a very special day for Dominic Anderson and his flight crew. Now, I want to dive into some of these stories that we've covered in a few of the good news roundups we've had so far in the month of November. Obviously, during the holiday season, we're going to see a lot of things about donation drives. We're going to see a lot of things about benefits and things that are helping the less fortunate in our community. And it's really been awesome to be able to highlight some of these events that are going on. Obviously, we've had a lot of donation drives kick up this month, benefiting different groups. The Office of Black Community Engagement with the City of Albuquerque is currently doing a feminine hygiene products donation drive, where they're looking for, pads, panty liners, personal wipes, other feminine hygiene products to give out to the community in need. Those donations are still going on. And anybody who is interested in donating, you can drop your donations off at City Hall on the 4th floor where the Office of Equity and Inclusion is. You can also do curbside drop-off at City Hall in their loading zone by calling 505-768-3491. That lets them know that you are downstairs and need a curbside donation pickup. Also going on right now is the Department of Senior Affairs are collecting items for older adults this holiday season. So seniors that are in need of protein drinks, underwear, scarves, hats, socks, along with cleaning supplies, laundry detergents, manicure and grooming sets, and facial and toilet paper. All of those items are currently being collected by the Department of Senior Affairs. Those can be dropped off at any of the city's senior or multi-generational centers, and donations for that are being accepted through November 27th. For any information on that donation drive, directions to any of the drop-off sites, you can call 505-764-6400. And that number will direct you to where you can drop off those donation items. In addition to donation drives, for anybody who's looking to get out on Thanksgiving to do any sort of volunteer work to benefit the community, the City of Albuquerque's Office of Civic Engagement is actually looking for volunteers to volunteer their time on Thanksgiving to serve meals to the unhoused community here in Albuquerque. On Thanksgiving Day, the Gateway West Center, the Gateway Family Center, and the Gateway Center are all going to be serving Thanksgiving meals to the unhoused population. Meals at the Gateway West Center will be served from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then at the Family and Gateway Center, meals will be served from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anybody interested in signing up to volunteer for Thanksgiving meals, to serve those can do so by visiting www.oneabqvolunteers.com. Another thing we featured in the Good News Roundup was a very cool benefit concert that's being put together by UNM students that are looking to organize and collect donations for one of three charities: KOAT TV's Coats for Kids, Roadrunner Food Bank, and the Carlisle Center for the Arts. And the students at the University of New Mexico who are associated with the American Choral Directors Association, which is a student-chartered nonprofit, are organizing a holiday benefit concert to take place at the Emmanuel Presbyterian Church located at 114 Carlisle Southwest on the 23rd, so this upcoming Saturday. That benefit concert will be taking place at 7:30. In lieu of paying for tickets for the concert, the students are asking that people make donations to one of those three charities I mentioned before. Those donations can be done by scanning QR codes that'll be available at the theater the night of the concert. You scan the QR code, you can enter in the amount that you want to donate to that particular charity. Just another cool way that our community is getting involved to take care of the less fortunate this holiday season. And speaking of community partners reaching out to do really cool stuff for those in need this holiday season, I want to talk a little bit about a very cool story that we covered that Valley Auto Sales is doing. Valley Auto Sales has been in business now for a little under a decade, located in Northwest Albuquerque. And the owner of the dealership, Mark Padilla, is doing a car giveaway. He's giving a car away to any individual that is currently dealing with cancer, going through that unfortunate issue. Padilla is doing this in honor of his mom, Teresa, who he lost in 2016 to a battle with cancer. He's giving away a 2007 Ford Focus. He's also partnering with Ultimate Insurance to provide the recipient of that car with 6 months of free car insurance as well. And when I talked to Mark a little bit about it and why, he wants to do this, he mentioned that he's just trying to do the right thing and give back to the community. He also credited his mom, who he said was always a kind person, who always taught him to do right. So he's doing this in her name as well. The giveaway, the deadline to apply for this vehicle, if you are somebody out in the community that is currently dealing with cancer, or you want to let somebody who you know who's dealing with cancer know about this giveaway, Padilla said that the dealership is accepting applications for this through the 13th of December. If you're interested in submitting something, all you have to do is submit a short essay about what your current situation is with cancer, how it's affecting you, and how the car would ease your burden and make life easier for you. Submissions can be sent to albqmark@yahoo.com. That's albqmark@yahoo.com. A winner, Padilla says they will select a winner on December 20th, and really says he hopes that this car will ease the burden of whoever receives it, telling me he just hopes it helps them get to chemo and doctor's appointments, and just generally just makes life better for them. So a very cool rundown of a lot of events we have going on here in Albuquerque that benefit the less fortunate within our community. Last but very not least, we've talked a lot about the holidays, so obviously it's only natural that we talk about something Christmas related. This past Monday, Sandia Resort and Casino lit a Christmas tree in their hotel lobby. It's not just any Christmas tree. This is a 40-foot tall Christmas tree that stands in the center of their hotel lobby. It was an awesome ceremony. Mariachis were involved. Basically, kind of you picture anything that's classic New Mexican Christmas, they had it there at this tree lighting ceremony. Sandia Pueblo Governor Felix Chavez invited the Pueblo's youth and children onto a stage with him where they helped him push a gigantic red button that lit up the Christmas tree and Christmas lights. And afterwards, after the tree lighting ceremony was over, a surprise visit from Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, who took time to take pictures with the kiddos that were at the event and listened to the kids as they let Santa know what they wanted for this upcoming Christmas season. So a very awesome event there. Awesome to see the kids get involved. That tree is gigantic. I don't know if anybody has seen the tree yet or is going to be going to Sandia Resort anytime soon, but that tree is massive. So be sure to check it out. And just cool to see the kids light up. Some of the kids light up. A few of the kids did cry when they got to Santa Claus. So, are the typical kids who always kind of struggle with Santa. But all in all, a very cool event and kind of a precursor for, as I would imagine, a lot more Christmas stories that we have upcoming here on the Good News Beat. But so far, that's a little bit of a glimpse into what we've covered so far this month. But as Thanksgiving approaches, as more opportunities for organizations and nonprofits and just community groups grow for them to get out to the community and help those in need, I'm sure we'll be covering a lot more. As always, I want to encourage our readers to send us any good news tips you guys might have. If you have an idea for a good news story, feel free to send that over to goodnews@abqjournal.com. That's goodnews@abqjournal.com. That's where we get all of our tips for good news stories. We never get tired of reading your guys' submissions. You're the community. You're the ones who support the type of work and journalism we're doing here. And through you guys, we'll be able to continue to provide these stories that mean so much to you. But looking forward to getting deeper into this holiday season. Very excited to see where the Good News Beat takes us. Next week, we'll see what happens as far as story-wise goes. But again, feel free to send us anything you guys have upcoming. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next episode.